time. The red lights go on. Hold your breath, everyone. Fiesta Junior action back underway here at Silverstone. And as those red lights go out, it's going to be a rush towards Copse Corner for Luke Hilton. Has he managed to hang on to the advantage? Yes, he has. Luke Hilton leads them through. Finn Leslie versus Daniel Lewis is the battle for second position, because Flema Ricola has dropped one spot down to fourth, and she's busy battling away now with Jacob Hodgkiss, a front runner from the earlier race for that fourth place. Dan Lewis gets the better of Finn Leslie, then slips into second. Leslie third, and Ricola fourth, and then side by side for fifth. That's Rashan Chigarimbo on the inside, and a very wayward Jacob Hodgkiss trying the high, wide and handsome line.
He was going in very deep. He's managed to recover through that, which is good. So he will survive to fight another corner. 3 wide as they come down the Welly straight. And all good, though, out front with Luke Hilton, who will really be relishing the fact that his main championship rival is that far back, and he'll just need to get away as they go side by side for second position. Oh, good catch there by Lewis.
Yeah, good car control from Daniel Lewis, and he might still manage to convert that into second place, although Finn Leslie's coming back at him through Luffield Corner on the inside line, the preferred inside line. And yes, he does clear Daniel Lewis on the exit. That brings Ricola and Chigarimbo and Hodgkiss back into the battle as well. As further back, Lucas Hayden there battling away with Jasmine Shaw. I think it was Jasmine who I saw spinning on the way out of the assembly area. I think it was that sort of white and pinky orange car. Through Copse Corner they go. Another twitch there from Lewis. The rear of Daniel Lewis's car doesn't look all that settled, does it?
No, it doesn't. He's fighting hard. He wants to get that second position back, but Luke Hilton out front at the moment. Daniel Lewis in third, into pit lane for the 42 car. And problems then for Henry Howarth. Not happy first meeting for him.
No, that is a shame. Henry Howarth's day then looks like it's done now. Here comes Ben Ryan charging round the outside through Beckett's corner. That was Marcel Lachinsky that he was going round the outside of, and someone else then dived up the inside of him.
National circuit today, Ben.
You go where they're not, don't you, really, in situations like this? And there was a gap on the outside. It wasn't quite within track limits, but he kept his foot pinned anyway as he continues to try and make some good forward progress. Jasmine Shaw there with a lovely move. Sorry, Ben Daughtry, that is, sorry, up the inside of Rashan Chigarimbo. And that will put him up an extra place. 6th spot now then belonging to him as they round Luffield again. But really good, respectful racing, isn't there, so far?
Kiss of death, touch wood, yeah, that's right. It is. Chatting to a couple of people, and a lot of the teams that had damage after race number 1 were saying it probably was a little bit of inexperience that caused it. The various, and there were a lot of non-finishers, weren't there, in race number 1, but amazing how the teams have got so many cars back out and looking prim as well, I've got to say.
Was a good attempted move there. Jensen Bell on the inside of Lucas Hayden there, and that's going to delay them both on the exit. Could bring the chasing pack back onto their tail. Whilst further up the order, Flema Ricola having a really, really good race here. 4th position for her. And chasing after Daniel Lewis as they head out of Beckett. Again, lots of them really wide. Some of them have gone through their own choice, I must stress. That will include Marcel Lachinsky, who was well and truly shown the edge of the road there by Alfie Garford.
Sam Nesser hoping for better luck in this one as well. He's a little way back, but he's got to try and work his way through. Again, the championship front runners, chatting to his mum and dad about his options for next year. Keep you in suspense on what they're thinking about doing, but loads of options open. Oh. That's not a good sign.
That's Jensen Bell. Was that just a lock-up or something more sinister? He's trying his best to get back on the road. Loses a whole heap of places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them all go through, and he only lost about a second in all of that. But 6 cars managed to file their way past him. And so Jensen Bell, who had been making some good forward progress on the previous lap, now starts to slip backwards.
He does. Sam Nesser at the moment, side by side with another newcomer, Alfie Garford, who was a little bit shocked after his incident in race number. He's had to go to the medical centre. You do in circuit racing, lad.
Yes, rightly so.
At least he's been looked after. That's the key thing.
Exactly, exactly so. Wesley Swain there running a bit wide. Oh, that looked a bit interesting. Lots of jockeying for position. Someone I think was slow out of Copse, and that scatters the pack as they drop down into Beckett's. All of the Mark 6s have found each other, haven't they? There isn't a Mark 7 in sight here.
No, that's right.
Down towards the back of the field, and again Jensen Bell locks up. Must have some sort of issue with the brakes, mustn't he, or the steering. The car just not really stopping nicely into some of the slow corners.
No, not good for him. James Pope struggling round at the back there in 47, not having a particularly happy weekend either. Finn Leslie with fastest lap. Did we pick that up?
No, well spotted. 1.5 seconds off the lead. He was only fractionally quicker than Luke Hilton, but he's quicker than Luke Hilton. Not many people can say that this weekend. So
on his debut weekend, fastest. Wow,
incredible, isn't it? Absolutely.
Yeah,
So out of Luffield they go. 1.5 seconds the lead margin. We've had a purple sector for Flame Auricola this time as well, actually. So let's see what the lap times are. Flame Auricola sets the fastest lap from fourth position.
Flame. Good stuff.
1:12.1. Incredible stuff.
Absolutely brilliant, and you know, Mum's going to be chuffed about it. I used to commentate on Mum in Legends cars. Way. I didn't like them, she said in the interview.
Excellent. Love an honest interview with her.
Well, some formulas aren't for some drivers, but Flame fast, that is really good, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that switch from Finn to Flame, who is under pressure here.
No, she's got
she's
the
got past
outside
Daniel Lewis. Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Incredible third place now for Flame Auricola, fastest driver on the track. And look, Luke Hilton is not escaping this time around. Finn Leslie's going after him.
He's flashing his lights, this Finn.
He's up for the fight, isn't he, in this one?
Yeah, goodness me. This is, again, like the senior race that we saw earlier on. He's going to have a lot to take away. Here comes Lewis down the inside. Nice, neat move. Back up into third place.
Yeah,
Here comes Jacob Hodgkiss, though.
Yeah, Hodgkiss round the outside. Not even a hint of working together there from Lewis
and
Auricola, was there? And that has just delayed them a little bit, but Lewis back into third. And now this also brings Ben Doughty into the battle there. The white and pink car, the pink Parrot car. As there, I'm afraid, is another retirement, and that's going to be Simpson, isn't it? Hadley Simpson, number 37.
Yep.
I think he's pulled off down at Beckett's.
Yeah, he had a retirement from race number 1. I had a very, very brief chat, one of the few brief chats I had in the paddock. They were so busy repairing the car, didn't really have time to have a chat. I apologise if there's anyone that I should have spoken to today, but didn't. You can't get around the whole paddock.
No, exactly, because there's so many drivers in it now, which is a nice problem to have, really. We said all of the Mark 6s had got themselves together. Now here we have a group of 4 Mark 7s running nose to tail, chasing another one, of course, in Finn Leslie in second place. But don't be fooled into thinking that the Mark 7 has a performance advantage. Remember, Luke Hilton in the older spec car continuing to lead the way, albeit by an increasingly reduced margin. He was another 10th slower than Finn Leslie on the previous lap, and the closer Leslie gets, the more of a slipstream he starts to pick up, and in theory, the faster he can go.
Yeah, this is, and Finn's building his experience of these cars, isn't he? So it's Hilton from Leslie, Lewis in third place, Flame Auricola still in fourth, a little bit further back, Sam Nesser making progress. How about some of the other drivers come through? Jensen Mason's got up into 17th, making his way through. So still plenty of time to play, still another 7 minutes, so more places can be made up here. With Ben Mulryan up into the top 10, he's up into 8th now, chasing Jasmine Shaw.
Yep, out of Woodcote they go again then, and Ben Mulryan only 7th at the moment. So Ben Mulryan made some good early progress. He has just passed Jasmine on that previous lap, but 6.5 seconds off the race lead. He's 2.2 seconds actually off the next group of cars. So we'll see now in some clean air what his pace is relative to them, but at least he's scoring some points. And this could have been a disastrous day given where he was starting the pair of races. He's actually managing to get something out of it, which is nice to see. There's Wesley Swain, the Pro Alloys racing car. Latest coloured car on the grid, and then a good battle here. Sam Nesser not making the sort of progress that Mulryan is, and he's stuck for the time being behind the number 96 of Ronnie Smith. Progress
is always difficult, isn't it? Because there are so many decent drivers right the way through the field. Some of them going to be midfielders maybe a lot of the time as they learn their craft to look at coming back for next year. But you know, Ben Mulryan has made that sterling progress. The others are going to have to absolutely work for it. Hodgkiss now trying to chase down Auricola. Daniel Lewis looking a little bit more settled in third place at the moment, and Hilton to Leslie, just 0.7 seconds now.
Because it's another fastest lap, this time for Finn Leslie on the previous lap, and now he's only 3/10 back. He's caught Luke Hilton, so Finn Leslie in his second ever Fiesta G, second ever car race of any kind, is on the tail of Luke Hilton, who has been the dominant force in Fiesta Junior racing this weekend. I honestly thought that no one could keep up with him, but Finn Leslie has reduced what was at one point getting on for a 2.5 second deficit to be right on the boot lid of the race leader.
And here you get a great shot that was as they came along towards us front on about how much bigger the Mark 7s are. It's really interesting to see the difference between the two cars. Shape-wise, you can see that when we go side on. Finn Leslie doesn't want to see the side of it. He wants to see the car in his mirror. And it's a little bit, well, not too defensive. Initially it was, then over. And this is, you can see Hilton here is very definitely under a bit of pressure.
Yeah, weaving around a lot there down the straight. Got to be careful doing that, but Finn Leslie not able to take advantage of that. Again, nothing to choose between the two cars in a straight line there. Hilton cocking the right rear wheel as he turns through Luffield. Finn Leslie takes a wide line. Where's Hilton gone? He took a very wide exit line there, but manages to come out of the corner still in front. And now this is the real test for Finn. It's one thing to go out there and catch the leader, put in some really good hot laps almost, but to find a way past someone with so much more experience, relatively speaking, than you in this category of racing, that is going to be tricky.
Well, he's got plenty of experience of starting off the front in karting and winning in karting, and as long as he's got his mindset, even in beginner's mode into car racing, he can do the business here, and he really is in a place where he can put a nibble on. Just looks towards the inside as they go through Maggots again. Round now into Beckett's. Hilton will be keen not to run too wide. He does drift wide though, and here comes the challenger who's got his nose in front now on the overlap. But Hilton's got the inside run as they come along the straight and should grab the inside line into Brooklands, unless the red car can get around the outside.
There's going to be last of the late breakers, isn't it? How brave is Finn Leslie feeling on the outside line? He should be able to carry more speed into the turn, but Hilton's got the tight line and crowds him over to the outside. Look, but that leaves a gap on the inside. Finn Leslie commits. There's a bit of paint traded. He's on the outside line now, through Luffield corner again, onto three wheels for an understeering. Luke Hilton.
He's got him.
And Leslie's gone through. I think Hilton's got a puncture. I think Hilton's left front tyre has been knocked off the rim in that tiny bit of contact. And Luke Hilton could be out of the race. He bails for the pit lane, and Finn Leslie to the lead.
Well, not that potentially championship down the Swanee with the DNF, isn't it? That is not what Luke Hilton wanted. And also in a race with a guest driver, that's going to rankle.
It is a bit, isn't it? Luke Hilton, yeah, because he'd had 2 non-scores, one of which he's not allowed to drop anyway, so really didn't need another non-finish. So they might change the tyre and get him back out there. He could score some points, but should have been a race win, really, shouldn't it? What a shame, though, that happened. It was the tiniest little bit of contact just coming out of Brooklyn, sorry. We see that all the time, don't we?
Yeah.
And it's not like Finn Leslie shoved him off the track.
No. It was a clash, and, you know, my colleague Paul and I will say, you know, you've got to, if you don't come out of the race with a few scratches on the car or otherwise, then you're not racing, are you? And Clark will probably have something to say. We worry about that. But for us, we're looking at a brand new driver, first racing weekend, and he's on for a win. Flame Auricola possibly in line for a podium. That promotes her back up into 3rd place. But Jacob Hodgkiss all over the back of her car as well. Yeah, that gap's come down on this lap, I think, hasn't it? As they come towards the completion of lap number 10. We've got just under 3 minutes still to go. Someone else there limping towards us. That's Alfie, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Alfie Garford, isn't it? Yeah, so he's off the pace. And nothing obviously wrong with the car, but quite clearly not up to the speed that he should be. So the 2010 car picks up the pace through Brooklands quite nicely, and maybe is now starting to find a bit more speed again. Right, out of Copse Corner then comes the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th place battle. And well, forget a first ever podium. Flame Auricola once more. She wants 2nd place.
Yeah, and who can blame her? She's in the awkward position here. Hodgkiss just gets checked up in time. He was about to have a little bit of a lunge. Flame runs a little bit wide. So too did Hodgkiss on the chase. And we'll see now whether Flame's coming back actually, and having a look at Daniel Lewis, actually teeing this up rather well. Yeah, she's peeking to the inside, half to defend and half to try and attack, sort of hedging her bets a little bit into the braking zone at Brooklands. And, well, Hodgkiss is just going to try and fully commit to the outside line. This might work. Gives him the inside for Luffield. Is there an overlap? Yes, there is. And Jacob Hodgkiss goes through. Can Ben Doughty follow him through? He's certainly going to try to. Leavers Flame Auricola aside. And that's a bit of a shame, really, for Flame. Just one false move. She thought she was doing the right thing, really, by defending the inside line, but got boxed in behind Dan Lewis, and that allowed Hodgkiss to go by. So Hodgkiss now back into a podium position, and Flame Auricola left to try and fend off Ben Doughty for 4th. Still a great race for her. She's only been in the top 10 once so far. I say only. It's her first year of racing. Met her on the Ginetta Scholarship last year, and decided to come. A lot of drivers will try their hand at that and then say, do you know what, we're going to do Ginettas, we're going to do Fiesta, and they do. But it's part and parcel of it. It's amazing how many people meet up, but she's still on for a terrific result, but now under massive pressure from Ben Mulryan, who again has put a super drive together in this race. And he's going to have another lap after this one as well, so he's 6th now, going for 5th against Flame Auricola, a top 5 finish from 21st on the grid. I think he'd probably take that to go along with his strong result from the back in the earlier race. He's trying now to go around the outside of Auricola, as Jacob Hodgkiss did to her down here a lap ago at Brooklands, late on the brakes, and yeah, she will slip through. Who was that, 24? Michael Wheeler. Yeah, Michael Wheeler. I'm sure he went across that bit of grass in qualifying. He likes it. He likes it. Yes, might do rallycross maybe. Got a good view of the final couple of corners from there, I suppose, and at least he's staying out of the way of the race leaders after whatever drama he's had. Wesley Swain, by the way, who just went through in the Pro Alloys car, he's picked up a 5-second
second track limits penalty. So ninth on the road, but he's going to drop down a little bit as a result of that one. There's Sam Nessa, meanwhile, leading this next group of cars, and Nessa's race just hasn't really come together, has it? I don't know whether this is a legacy of the damage he suffered earlier in the weekend, but only 13th place for Sam Nessa, and with Hilton out of the race, yet again, the benefit in the championship is to Mulryan.
It is, I think Mulryan would be one of these events that we'll look back on where he didn't get first, second, third, but the points are going to be really valuable for the championship at the end of the year. There's Jensen Mason at the back of this quartet that we were talking about earlier on, another rookie driver. Again, met at the Janetta Scholarship last year, and he said, no-brainer for him and his family to come here. Met his dad and his granddad this weekend as well. A really nice natter with them, and he's looking at the outside line. Not really any pressure for him going off the back. Disappointment going off the back after qualifying well, but enjoying his racing here, learning his racecraft, as is this young man.
What more can you say about Finn Leslie? What a drive this was. He dropped back by a couple of seconds from the race leader in the early stages, plugged away, gained the time back, challenged Luke Hilton for the lead, and managed to get through with that move down at Brooklands Corner. And in only his second ever car race, Finn Leslie is a winner on the weekend when we had our biggest ever grid of Fiesta Junior drivers. It's a new driver on the top step of the podium. Daniel Lewis comes home a very happy second, and Jacob Hodgkiss will complete the podium runners after that late move against Flamer Ricola. Ben Mulryan fourth, good points for the championship leader. He'll be pretty satisfied with that. Ben Doughty in fifth. Flamer Ricola a bit disappointed maybe with sixth, but it's still a career best finish with George Foxlow seventh, Jasmine Shaw breaking behind left ninth, and Rashan Chigarimbo completing the top 10 after another really entertaining race, and thankfully slightly fewer walking wounded at the end.
George Foxlow's best finish to the season as well in seventh. Well done, George. Good to see. Difficult to keep up with all the drivers. For me, if I was interviewing, I would see, let's see what Finn Leslie's made of media-wise. How do you feel about taking out, or in the move that caused the retirement of? There's a bit of pressure for him. It'll be interesting to see. He handled Anthony's questions really well.
He did,
in his first interview. He was superb. But that's it. Oh, Anthony's there. Sorry. Good man. Finn won't thank me for that, will he, on the interview? But that's all about learning for him, and he'll probably just shrug like he did to me earlier on in the Transporter. It was a move he had to go for, and it was. I say the damage was unfortunate, wasn't it, for Luke Hilton?
I certainly wouldn't apportion any blame to him. There was space for both cars there. They just met in the middle, and sometimes it doesn't have to be a big bit of contact to do some damage. It's that tiny little tap that can just knock the tyre off the rim, and absolutely no malice in that whatsoever. That's clear to see, but I do look forward to seeing his answer to that question. 3 seconds his winning margin then. 2010 Racing will be very pleased with the young star they've got on their hands. Daniel Lewis leads a brace of race car consultants entries then. Second, third and fourth for that team. Lewis second, Hodgkiss third, and Ben Mulryan the championship leader in fourth. Then a couple more 2010 entrants, Ben Doughty and Flamer Ricola ahead of George Foxlow, then Jasmine Shaw, Ryan Micklef and Rashan Chigarimbo to complete the top 10. Marcel Lajinski in 11th, Wesley Swade 12th, Sam Nessa a disappointed 13th, ahead of Lucas Hayden in 14th, with those two involved in a brilliant scrap there outside of the top 10. 15th place then was Jensen Mason, Ronnie Smith 16th, ahead of Tommy Harfield, James Pope and Alfie Garford. Luke Hilton actually got back out there on the lead lap, would you believe? So they changed that tyre very quickly, and I think he will get a few points for finishing in 19th, especially with a couple of guest entries ahead of him. Michael Wheeler was 21st, ahead of Hadley Simpson, Jensen Bell and Henry Howarth, none of whom were running